If they say you are involved, as soon Matthew Goniwe and the others were involved in that structure, they decided that they're going to take him back to government. First of all, I just want to say thank you for everybody that you come to Cradock. And I just want to say to you, all of you, if the Ties and Victoria Manor was not here, I should have never been here. It's because I've got a second mother and I've got a family that makes me to come and stand here. What I'm going to explain to you and tell to you is about the involvement of myself with the Cradock Four leaders. I'm not going to go in their personality. I'm just going to be very much general in the involvement and one of the residents during those days. I was born in Cradock, and my name is Amos, and my surname is Nteta, and my right name is Ubechi, and my clan name is Umzangwa. I was born in Cradock. Fortunately, I went to school here in Cradock. I didn't go that far at school. Those days, during those things, I won't deal with that. But what I wanted to say, the Cradock leaders started to be totally involved with the people in Lingelishe, only because the government of the day imposed a structure which was not elected by the people of Lingelishe. So that structure was imposed to the people. As we know that Cradock was divided into three pieces. There was Lingelishe Town Council, and there was Mkhonto Town Council, and there was the council itself in town. So the people were feeling that this is totally something that is not acceptable. Then the Cradock leaders say, now what are we going to do with this now? Because the structure is there. And it was so very, very difficult to let that structure away from the people, because they were getting something and the people were getting nothing. And they were dealing with the people services, because they were the one that the rent, will they say, go to the people, the rent is up again. So these Cradock Four leaders, they decided to say that this structure must dismantle. But the luckiest thing in Cradock, because the people have first been bring together to say that it's only this structure that we must take away. Otherwise, this structure is the people that we are staying with them here in the township. It's the people that are part of our family here in the township. So we'll go straight to them and tell them, please, can you please dissolve, because the people did not elect you. And fortunately, and the luckiest thing, those people just dissolved. During those days, if there's a structure that has been democratically elected by the people, that was something wrong for the government. And that structure, they'll always think that the terrorists are involved there, but it's not like that. Then we said that the structure is being dissolved now. What are we going to do? And the first thing that they planned, let us have our own structure. It's where the Cradock Resident Association was formed. Now we got this structure now. What are we going to do with this structure? This structure, the first thing that they're going to fight is going to fight the rent, the story of the rent. And this is the structure that will go to the government and say, the people are not like this rent, because they didn't have any say of how to rent the rent. Now how are we going to do it? The first thing that we're going to challenge the government with this thing. Now to involve everybody, let us have a donation of each and every house. Let them donate something so that everybody can be involved. So everybody can feel that I've done something. Then they said, now, okay, we'll go around the people and say, okay, each and every house, can you give us a 20 rand so that we can just challenge this rent in the court, knowing fully that we are going to lose it. But it's just to bring the people in so that they can see that they are also involved in the structure. Okay, the case was on. Though, unfortunately, we lost the case. But the people knows that this is our structure. From here, what are we going to do? Here's the structure, here's Cradora. What are we going to do? Cradora went out and find out what can we do, because now we are trying to govern ourselves now. What are we going to do now? Because we are here in Cradock. Then the people decided that no, we'll go to the University of the Western Cape just to come and do the surveyor here in Lingelishe. What is dying need for the people in Lingelishe? The survey was being conducted by the University of the Western Cape, and they come up with the point that in Lingelishe we need a skill development project. We need a crash for the kids. We need a library. In those days, we didn't have a library in Lingelishe. There was only one library in town. The other one was in Mkhonto, which it was not meant for us. So the library was there. Now, where are we going to get the money? And the people decided that we're going to get to the outside world and ask for this money. Whilst the people were still waiting for that, not all people are involved. Now, how are we going to hear the stories, what's happening in township? So they decided to form what we called the people's organ. Each and every street must have a representative. Your problem in that street, you discuss it. You can't come up with a resolution, then you're going to take it further. So everybody is involved there. So that's why it was so important that every people can protect each other. In those days, you can either leave your washing outside at night. The next day you come, it's still there. You can sleep with open windows. Even we didn't have even the locked gates. Your gates would open your gate right through. Because the only people that we are afraid of was the policemen. Otherwise, all of us, we are the one. So the people, what I'm trying to say why these four leaders were so important in Lingelishe. Because they got discipline. They were very disciplined. And they tried to teach us discipline and honesty. So we were fighting all together. But on the other side, because there's this structure called Cradock, and this structure called Cradola, 1980, the UDF was formed. And this structure, Cradola, was also now affiliate of the UDF. And that was the biggest problem for the government, because they didn't like it at all. Because they didn't like the UDF saying that it's a part underground structure of the ANC, which for us, we didn't see it like that, but they were seeing it like that. So that's why they didn't like totally anyone involved with the UDF. But because the people had to do that, because they are trying to bring it down. Not that these people were very violent. They were totally non-violent people. They were always doing things slowly, not violent. But because the government didn't like those ideas, they were totally not happy about that. But people in Lingelishe, they were very united. Everything they were doing united. The Youth League had their own organization. The Women's League had their own organization. And the workers for their own organization, which I was part of the workers' union there. I was the chairman of the Cradock Workers' Union, and there was Cradock Women's Union, and there was Cradock Youth Association. Even at school level, the school bodies were there, but the school bodies were elected democratically. But the government totally didn't like that. It worked so much that these comrades, they were involved in different cultures. The Matthew Goniwe was elected by the UDF as one of the chief organizers from Port Elizabeth but right to Grafrinet, which they didn't like it, so that you can collect all the problems that the people have here, so that they can take it to the other structures in Britain. So the government, they didn't like that idea totally. As I said that to you, N10 was a very dangerous road. But because these guys were very proud and very strong and had the big supporters of the people, they were not afraid to do that. It's not that they didn't know something is going to happen on that road, but because they were saying that we are going to be here for our people. Oh, well, some of them are going to go to exile, but they say there's nothing that we're going to do to exile. The problem lies with us here. So they always had that power, and we were always behind them with everything, because they were there for us. And now you can see that the rent is up, but we are living in this poor condition in the houses, an unhealthy condition, because those days it was a bucket system, which is the toilet is here, you do everything here, and there's no one that care for us. So the people were saying that, look, this is the things that we can do. Even the government, when they were trying to come and say, okay, come now, let's sit down and discuss it. But the demand of Cradock was a little bit not what the government likes, those demands. Because the demands of Cradock was that release all the political prisoners, let the exiles come at home. And that the government didn't like that idea. So that's why they stay as the biggest enemy of the government. But they didn't do nothing wrong for the government. It's only that they didn't see with one eye. If I say this hand is black, they will say, no, this hand is white. Those were just those small differences which didn't mean that you can result it in that way. Now what I'm trying to say, that's why from that 3 years, they moved to the last bad years of 1985. But everybody those days, they were saying that even if they take Matthew Goniwe for detention, they'll take him in today because the power of Cradock was so strong. The power in Lingelisha was so strong. We no more call it Lingelisha, we call it Cradock. Because Cradock was the most powerful one within the Eastern Cape. Because they are the ones that started with these people local, so that everybody could see that this is the most thing with non-violent. If they take Matthew Goniwe for detention, people will come together and they come up with one thing that we think that was the strongest one. We've got the buying power. We are the one that buys in town. So let us take our buying power away. So if we quietly, we don't fight with no one. But for the capitalists that make money in town, they are the ones who come up and say, now, why don't you come to town and come and buy? We'll say, you go straight to the police, more especially the special branch. The security police of 1980, those police were very, very cruel. It was not easy to call Chris and say, Chris, can you come to my house? That's the biggest problem for me and for Chris. Those guys were people like that. And the government, mostly those years, were being controlled by the security police. If they say you are involved, as soon Matthew Goniwe and the others were involved in that structure, they decided that they're going to take him back to Graafnet, where he came from. When he was coming from Transkei, he deported back to Graafnet. Then they decided, no, we go to Graafnet. It's where the people were saying that now we are standing together, that we are not going to allow. As I say, because the people were so much together, the school bodies also dissolved and say, no, we are not going to allow this. And they decided that he must go out of school. But the people were very, very, very strong. They'll take him in, then the people decided, we are not going to buy in town. Then the business people will go straight to Sanlam and say, well, that man, where's that man now? The next day he's with us there. But for the government, they didn't leave it like that. Because for them, if they lose this one, they'll try another one. It's not that these guys, they didn't know these guys, they are going to catch them one day. And they are all going to do it. And their year comes now to say, we've got this thing that says, the Operation Cleanup. The Operation Cleanup was based for the Eastern Cape. Every leaders that are there will see that they must be cleaned up. We know that they started to clean up with the pepco tree. When they clean up pepco tree, the three guys in Elizabeth, they cleaned them up. And then they were just going to be murdered right outside Cradock here. Then, but because these guys were strong, because they've got the backup of the people, they will go to Port Elizabeth. They will go and take the reports of the people because they are working for the people. As I said to you, these four comrades were so important to us because they are working for us. We elect them, they were working for us. They will do everything for us so that we always stand with them. So they were not afraid for nothing as long as they are standing. And in those days, it was free of charge. Everybody in Lingelisha was prepared to die just for the sake of that. We want to be free. Even young ones, even those days, people which is my age, if you can ask him now, can you say something about the Cradock Four? And he say to you, I don't know nothing. That's a disgrace. Because everybody was involved. from childhood up to the elder people. The people, everybody was there. So I learned to know each other. Well, I started to be much more involved in politics during this time when Steve Biko was being murdered. Then we started to group ourselves up till 1980 when we break off from the black consciousness to go to the UDF. It's not such we break off, it's only the ideas that changes. Then we go to the UDF. And the UDF was the one spearheading everything. So these guys had to go and report in Port Elizabeth because the structure of the UDF in the Eastern Cape was based in Port Elizabeth. So every Friday they have to go and report it there. It's not that the security police didn't know about that. They know all their corners. One day we woke up in the morning, I think around about 7 o'clock, but the street of English was full. The whole camp of Grahamstown was in the township there, saying only that these guys which you are supporting, they don't have this for you, they don't have this for you. We are the one that's supporting you. But the people were saying, you are just terrifying us. There's nothing like that. So they were working like that so that to gain the gain from the people. But they didn't know that they made the people stronger and stronger and stronger just to stand by our leaders. So here comes this bad Friday, which we'll never, never forget, that 26th of the Friday. We went back to Port Elizabeth to go and report all the needs of the people in the Galicia. And unfortunately, they didn't make it to come back. The meeting took place in Port Elizabeth. They were on their way back from Port Elizabeth. And on the cross that said Grahamstown and Port Elizabeth, the roadblock was there. As I said at first that the security then had the right to do anything. No one can do anything. They had that roadblock there. The car was in, they destroyed the car, and they murdered them in the surrounding of Blue Water Bay in different spots. The Friday comes and say they didn't reach Cradock. Then everybody knows exactly that the security police got them. I remember that Friday there was a disco on in the hall because we were using each and every avenue where we can come together so that we can let the news go on. That we plan to do this, we plan to do this, we plan to do this. Because meetings was not something that we can do it any time that we need. You know, that Friday, here the news comes, they didn't reach Cradock. Then people say exactly what's happening. From the hall, the people were dancing till the next day, running around in the village that we want them, we want them. We know it's you, security police. But the security police were saying that we've got nothing to do with that because Matthew Goniwe is reinstated to the Department of Immigration. But the people say it's fun. You're reinstating is going to start on Monday, on Friday was murdered. But well, no one's saying anything that's like that. Then we say we want the bodies. Because we didn't know the same extent what happened with Pepco Tree. Till at last they didn't see their bodies. Till they found the bones of their bodies in the outskirts of Pepco. They say we want the bodies of their children. We want to bury them ourselves. They say it's not like that. Well, the people decided that, okay, if you say that, then we'll go to Sandam and demand that Sandam must give us the bodies. Around about 2 o'clock, there come the news say that no, the bodies have been found in Blue Water Bay outskirts there. First two have been found. It was Sparrow, Mkhonto, and Sicelo. Later on, it was been found Matthew Goniwe and Fort Calata. The funeral take place. It was on Saturday. It was on a Saturday, take place. It was almost 60,000 people that attended that funeral. It was like a world funeral because everybody was here. That Saturday, 12 o'clock, PW Porter imposed the last state of emergency. That state of emergency lasted till 1989. And that state of emergency, that was the last kick of a dying horse. The only bad news, the next Sunday, Victoria Manor was gunned down in Durban, right in front of the house. So we say it was there. But I want to say to all people, this is the state of the KCC and Victoria Manor that I can do this. I say to all of you, I thank you so much.